Hello viewers, and welcome to the next round of the XRL Formula C Championship. If we have a look at the drivers' classification coming into this race, we've got Geronimo, who took the honours last time round at Donington, up at the top. He is 6 points ahead of Smithico, who dropped a place. We are in third place, Davy G HD, 57 points behind Geronimo. Then we have Season 1 champion Falpen just below us, and then comes our teammate GSY Davy, followed by two Spaniards, Bermejo and ER Kamikaze. If we have a look at the bottom half of the championship, dominated by British drivers. We've got a few of the retired participants in the league. So today's race is round 12 from the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona. The 4.6 kilometre track has 16 turns, and today's race is going to be 25 laps long. The forecast is for some clear weather, so there should be no problems with any rain falling. So before we have a look at the race, we're going to have a qualifying comparison from Tom Eddy, our online racing buddy.
You join us now with a direct onboard comparison between Falpen and Davy G HD around the Circuit de Catalunya circuit, 2.8 miles, 16 turns. Let's see how these two cars hook up their laps. Coming towards the first corner, braking just past the 100 metre marker, turning in beautifully for these two corners, both cars fairly evenly matched, but Falpen having a more responsive turn into the car, and as a result he's able to keep a tighter line, whereas Davy G having to run wider. But as we do come on to the end of the first sector, both cars are actually pretty much level to the 10th. But as we can see through this corner, Davy G having to take a wider line again as a result of less front wing aero. But as you can see, both cars make that corner fairly well, get the power on quite well, and as you can see by the bridge, they're still evenly matched. But it's through this sector now, with the extra front aero that Falpen has, he's able to take more speed into that chicane, and through this fast right-hander he's able to get the inside curb. Davy G not quite able to hit it, which allows Falpen to get more speed down the straight and stretch out that marginal advantage you may have had in the first sector. But now coming into the third sector, both cars actually missed the apex there. Both cars deliberately missed the apex here to get a great speed through this corner. Davy G has to pull something out now if he wants to get ahead of Falpen, but coming into the chicane he's actually able to get smoother turning into these chicanes. He's actually carrying more speed into the chicanes than Falpen. Through this final corner is vital for overtaking in the race, but coming on to the start finish straight, Falpen has just managed to keep that advantage he had in the middle sector, and as we can see here, Falpen's advantage is about 2/10, and that is the difference from the second row to the third row. That's been qualifying for the Spanish Grand Prix. It should make for a pretty fascinating start.
My thanks to Tom Eddy for the qualifying comparison, but now it's time for the race as we await the red lights to go out and start round 12 from the Circuit de Catalunya. It's go, and it looks like we've got a slightly tentative start. We're trying not to jump the lights as we did last time out at Donington. As we stream down now to the first corner, it looks like the order remains the same. It's Smithico and Davy at least still leading out their first and second positions. Geronimo in third. It looks like Troiolo and Falpen have went too wide. Coming out of the second corner now as we come up. The sweeping right-hander coming up, climbing up the hill. It looks there's Smithico, GSY David, Geronimo, and it looks like there's some smoke going on. There's Geronimo and Troiolo have made some contact, and Davy G we're off into the gravel to take avoiding action there. And that has pushed us down now into 9th place, so this is not an ideal start. We've had to avoid Geronimo's spin, and Troiolo unavoidably hitting him. So now we've got some places to make up, because now we're in 9th position, and Geronimo, that's the championship leader, he is in 10, so that's not a great start for him either, as we just sweep in between Rubio and Maxime. And now we're on board with Geronimo, who steams up the inside. Oh, and he's made contact with us. But it doesn't look like any damage has been done, so he's got away with that one. But now as we go back and look at Smithical and GSY Davy coming through the chicane to round off lap 1. So a pretty dramatic first lap, and I wonder if Troiolo has got to pit for any damage that he did receive from contact with Geronimo. As we cut back now, looking at Davy G and Rubio, as you can see the order, the graphic on the left hand side there. Smithical, GSY Davy, Falpen, ER Kamikaze, Rubio, as we've got Davy G now overtaking Rubio down now into the first corner. A pretty simple overtake there. It looks like he was in the slipstream, so that made it a little bit easier. And it looks like Geronimo's had another spin in the background there. You just missed it, but I did see some tyre smoke. That did look like Geronimo having another spin, so that's a very, very unfortunate and poor start for Geronimo, the championship leader. That is not how he was looking to start his race, and at one point he was up into 3rd place, so he's got some making up to do if he wants to try and keep that championship advantage. As we run on board now with Davy G, and I'll look at the replay of the start. We're going to see this contact with Geronimo hopefully from Troiolo, as we nice and clean off the start. Troiolo just ahead of us now, and it looks like they were going to go 4 wide going into the first corner, but they all backed out of it, knowing that the race isn't won in the first lap. As Falpen was just breaking off, he had Troiolo coming up the inside there and taking that 4th place away from him. But now this is where the contact happens. It looks like Geronimo just spins all on his own, as you can see up there. And as we have a slow-mo here, it looks like Troiolo had nowhere else to go, and it looks possibly like Troiolo has received quite a lot of front wing damage, and as you can see, we had to take avoiding action into the gravel. Moving on to lap 4 now, and we're in the slipstream of ER Kamikaze and Bernie ahead. Bernie is in 4th place, Kamikaze in 5th. Bernie has a little bit of a spin, and as we go back on board, and we've just slightly missed Kamikaze. That was a close call there. That could have been contact and possibly the end of the race for myself and Kamikaze. So some lightning fast reactions there, but we've took advantage of Bernie's spin there, and now we're up into 4th place. As you can see just how close the cars came to touching that front left and ER Kamikaze's right rear. And now lap 12 now, we've been trying to catch Falpen, who was about 6 seconds up the road or so, and I think we've been trying to do a little bit of fuel saving into that first corner, just braking a little bit earlier, lifting and coasting for a couple of laps. And now we're trying to push Falpen into a mistake, and as you can see, he runs wide a little bit there, so now we're up into 3rd place. So Falpen has made a little bit of an error there. I don't know whether he possibly could have been looking in his mirrors, distracted by our presence. Lap 13, coming out of the slow left-handers, we run wide slightly onto the AstroTurf, and as you can see, watch now, we hit a brake board. There it is there, and this loses us some of the aero and causes us to go off track, and now Falpen is just about a second behind us, so we've got to resist some of that pressure from him. As you can see, there is the contact with that brake board, and I didn't see it till the last minute, so no real chance to avoid that. David G and Falpen coming through the chicane and onto the straight. And now that we move on to lap 18, as you can see on the circuit map, we've got a red dot, and that is because that is the 2nd place man, GSY Davy, our teammate. He has had an off, and it doesn't look like he's able to continue very fast at all, so we're up into 2nd place now, and it's Smithico ahead of us. But as we have a look at the replay, this is GSY Davy, our teammate in the number 2 car, and as he comes into the final corners, he just loses the rear and straight into the tyres, and as you can hear, it sounds like he's sustained an awful lot of damage, and it doesn't look like he's going to get to the pits very quickly at all. So that is a shame for him and for the constructors, because he would have scored an awful lot of points for the team JAE. So the final lap now, and it's Davy G coming through the final corners to take second place. A splendid recovery from near on last on the grid after those opening laps, as he had to take avoidant action. Here is confirmation of the race results. It's Smithical who won the race. Congratulations to him. We finished in second place, and we were only 14 seconds behind actually. And then came Falpen in third place, rounding off the podium. ER Kamikaze in fourth, and Geronimo in fifth, the championship leader coming into this round. So he has lost quite a lot of points to Smithical. As you will see, this is how it has affected the championship. It is Smithical moves up to the top, 9 points behind is Geronimo, and we are in third place with Falpen in fourth. Both of us now cannot win the championship, so it's going to be a straight battle for third place. Then comes our teammate GSY Davy and the two Spaniards of ER Kamikaze and Bermejo. And if we have a look now at the bottom half, still remains some of the retired drivers, and once again is still dominated by British drivers. The next round, the penultimate round of the season, will be at Snetterton 300 in the rain. So that has been my highlights of round 12 from the Circuit de Catalunya. If you've enjoyed the video, hit the like button and also subscribe to support the channel. So until Snetterton 300, thank you all for watching, and yep, I'll see you next time.